about YouTube too. Whoever's watching this. My name is bennisongs, aka the reaction queen. Today, you probably saw the title, but today I'm gonna react to spooky, scary, animated stories. But in the spirit of Halloween.
What? Child. Anyway, so.
But in the spirit of Halloween, I thought I'd react to horror stories. Every story that I'm watching is from WANSEE Entertainment. I'm reacting to their videos. Show them some love. If you want to see more spooky, scary stories, go to their site. There are plenty of them. So yeah, please, WANSEE Entertainment. That's all love here. The first animated horror story I will react to is called The Grandma Horror Story. Shall we? Shall we? Let's do this.
When I was in elementary school, I had a friend who lived right next door. We used to go to school together all the time. One day, I was standing in front of my friend's house waiting for her as usual, and I realized that she was kind of strange when she came out. She looked kind of bemused. When I looked more closely, she was breaking out in a cold sweat. Feeling something strange, I asked my friend what was going on, and she started telling me a story about her dream. She started to dream the same dream she had from long ago. A kind-looking old lady always comes out in her dreams, and she cooks meals for her and then she eats it all.
That's nice.
My friend had a lot of conversations with her because she gave her such a good impression. The most amazing thing was when she woke up, she felt full, as if she had actually eaten.
Hold up. You want to tell me? Something's wrong. That's demonic. Me? No. These, in that case, these are fire breaks, okay? Because if you wake up after a dream and feel full because someone cooked for you and you ate, something is wrong, honey boo boo. The devil.
Even though it was just a dream. My friend lived alone with her maternal grandmother at the time, but on another day when my friend was about to go to school, she repeatedly requested one thing from her with a scary face. Do not follow the stranger or anyone today, okay? Do not. My friend was confused for a moment, but reassured her grandmother, telling her not.
First of all, that was scary. Not scary, but it's like, excuse me. And second of all, you should never follow strangers, okay? Kids, everybody behind the camera watching me right now, never follow a stranger. If you don't know a person, don't follow them, period.
Not to worry, and then went to school. However, nothing happened all day. And that night, she fell asleep, and the old lady appeared in her dream as usual, and made her a meal. She was enjoying her meal, and all of a sudden, the old lady asked my friend to go somewhere with her. She held the old lady's hand and tried to.
What did your grandma told you? It's a dream, I know, but I don't know. I wouldn't do it in a dream either. Because, oh no.
Follow her thoughtlessly. However, she then remembered what her grandmother said to her in the morning, so she let go of her hand and refused to go. Then she saw her face turn scary at that moment. The old lady suddenly grabbed the back of my friend's neck.
Excuse me, who are you grabbing? Let go me. And okay, no, okay, they said she's a little kid, right? Okay. I would be like, punch her, run, punch in the titty, run, but
and began to drag her somewhere, and no matter how hard she tried to escape, she wouldn't budge at all. While she was trembling with fear, she then remembered the other thing that her grandmother had told her
what
in the
did she say?
morning.
What?
If you're dragged by someone in your dreams, don't panic. Just slam your head against somewhere, like a wall or a pillar. Then you will wake up from your dream. Understand? My friend, who
Jesus
remembered the
Christ.
advice, saw a tree in front of her and tried to hit her head. But suddenly, the old lady laughed as she pulled my friend's head. Who taught you this? Oh, I see. Your grandmother did. So she failed to wake up and was being dragged away from her dream. And the old lady's cane suddenly caught her eye. At that moment, she bumped her head with all her strength on the stick, and then finally woke up from her dream. I got goosebumps listening to my friend, since it was early in the morning. Anyway, my friend, who had been absent-minded all day, started skipping school the following day. I was worried about her, so I went to her house. But the door didn't open, and she didn't answer the phone.
Yikes.
A month later, my friend called me, and she asked me to come over to her house. With curiosity, I ran to her house, and when I saw her again, she looked emaciated, and the atmosphere around her was quite different. Most of all, she kept laughing to herself like crazy.
Oh, she wasn't
dragged
sleeping
me
anymore?
into the house, took me to a room, and said this. Hey, you see my granny? She's crazy. Then she began to giggle more, and I unconsciously turned my eyes to the room. Her grandmother, looking into the air continuously, was begging desperately in a small, tiny room without a beam of light. Her face seemed afraid of something, and she kept muttering the same words. I didn't teach her. That was not me. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Later, I heard that her grandmother had passed away shortly after, and my friend has been hospitalized because of the shock. Come to think of it now, wasn't the food she always ate in her dreams a meal for her grandmother, who would die soon?
Excuse me? The fruit? I like the fruit. Hell no. What was that? No, I don't like that. I don't. Jesus. The second story is called The Creepy Incident That Happened While Watching the Movies. The movie, my bad. So, let's do this.
Not long ago, the movie theater I was at was crowded with people when the movie Parasite came out.
What's it?
Maybe it was because that film just won a big prize, called the Palme d'Or. There were a lot of people in the theater even though it was daytime on a weekday. So I entered the theater a little late that day, and the other people had already sat down in their seats. The seat I picked at that time was somewhere in the middle, probably the 8th row from the center of the screen in the front. Anyway, after the movie began, all I could hear was someone breathing next to me. I was watching it in a relatively quiet atmosphere, as this
I would be like, damn, stop breathing in my neck. Your hot breath. Hot ass, stinky, Cheeto ass, popcorn, Sprite ass breath.
This movie was for adults, but suddenly, something strange under the screen caught my eye. The space between the front of the screen and the first row of seats is usually carpeted and empty. And there, I had no idea whether it was a woman or a man, but the person with the
or an animal or a demon. Listen, if I would see something like that, do you think I would sit in my seat? I would be the first. I would book it. I would be gone. I was like, I don't care about my money. I want to live. I don't want to get possessed, B. I'm living this cinema. Damn, look at her ugly ass.
disheveled hair was crawling on the floor on all fours. He was wriggling on the floor, attaching his stomach. At that moment, I thought that someone might have fallen there or was hurt at first. So I looked around with anxiety, but to my surprise, none of those people showed any response. What is it? Is he drunk?
I will be gone.
Is that why they're
I will
ignoring
be
him?
gone.
I could see that no one around me reacted, so I was also unable to move. And in the middle of the movie, there...
Punch your way through the crowd, Jesus! Hit them, push them, but leave. I will be running. I will be jumping seats to get out of this cinema. She's like, nobody was moving. I don't care if you don't move. If you don't move, I'll make you move. Damn.
There was a scene where one of the family members broke into the house after another family had left, and they started to drink alcohol and eat food in the living room. The sound of rain was so vivid, and all of a sudden, that unknown thing suddenly raised its head straight up in the air. He had been dragging his whole body to the floor until a moment ago. However, he then stood, waist up, straightened his chest, and started to look around the seats like crazy. I don't know if he saw me or just around me, but he turned his head towards where I was sitting. At that moment, me and that thing were looking at each other. Because of its messy hair, its eyes were blinded, and I could only see around its nose and mouth. As soon as I saw it, a thought suddenly came to my mind. Is that a human? Feeling uncomfortable, I intentionally turned my eyes towards the screen to avoid it. And this time, it looked up with its face and started to stare at the audience from under the center of the screen.
And you want to tell me nobody saw this thing? This, I don't know, this vegetable ass looking dried ass thing? You're the only person who saw that?
The wall under the screen. It was now completely standing straight, with its upper body visible, and looking right this way. I couldn't see his face well, because of his hair, but soon after, it was finally shown, reflected by the light coming out of the projector. Only then did I begin to see a little bit of the middle of its face, and it was laughing, almost tearing its mouth, and its eyes were abnormally big and wide. I almost screamed for the first time. Its face was so gross that I almost...
Do you know Orochimaru? Kinda, a little bit. Maybe that's his cousin. Second cousin, third cousin.
Almost threw up at that moment. So I picked up my bag quickly and started running down the stairs, thinking I should leave the cinema as soon as possible. I looked towards the screen as I went down the stairs, and it was staring at me, turning its head slightly. The movie theaters usually have different locations between the entrance and the exit. I guess they locked the exit, which was close to the seats until the end of...
Huh? Excuse me, what did you say? Locking me in? Huh? Jesus. Do you know what? I would break the door. I don't know. I would. Huh? You would locking the door? I would sue this. I would sue them. Locking the doors in the cinema? What was wrong with you?
Of the movie. No matter how hard I tried, it didn't open. Even though it was such a crowded place, it was like I was trapped. I could have come out through the entrance, but I was not in my right mind at that moment. But just then,
the other entrance.
I knew instinctively that something was wrong. It was approaching my back. What should I do now? I then turned around with my eyes closed and ran frantically from the exit to the opposite entrance. Fortunately, the entrance door was open. When I came out, I could see the audience waiting and the part-timers in front of me. And as soon as I came out the main street from the theater, the creepy sensation quickly disappeared. However, whenever I saw videos relating to parasites on TV or the internet, its smiling face under the screen of the theater came up in my mind and distressed me, and I eventually couldn't watch that movie at all after that.
What? Hell no! What the heck is going on? nay. Nay, 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 nay. Anyone? These stories are not scary. I thought they were like, ah. They're not. They're good. But they're creepy. Like, you want to tell me nobody saw that thing? Maybe you have a third eye. You don't know? Mm-mm. So the next scary story I'm gonna react to, or actually technically these are 4 scary stories animated, and shall we just start?
Last year, I had a classmate who didn't like to socialize.
That's fine.
I was the only one who spoke to her.
That's nice.
One day, she messaged me an article about cat abuse, knowing that I had a cat. I replied to her, saying, "Wow, that's literally insane." She then started pretending she was close to me and continued to send articles about cat abuse or pictures of dead, such as road-killed cats. Feeling uncomfortable, I slowly began to avoid her. And one day, I suddenly felt like she took a picture of me.
Did you saw that? Let me go back. Let me go back.
Killed cats.
Look.
Feeling uncomfortable, I slowly began to avoid her. And one day, I suddenly felt like she
said, look at her. Look at her. You suddenly felt? Girl, her iPhone is all out and about. I suddenly felt her taking a picture of me. If you didn't notice that, and the flash was probably on. Yeah. In your peripheral. Nah, fam.
She took a picture of me. While she left her seat, I decided to secretly check her cell phone.
I don't believe that. I'm pausing a lot, but I don't believe that. How do you get in her phone? Nowadays, everybody has a password. What do you want to tell me? That's illegal too. Like, check yourself.
Surprisingly, the phone was not locked, so I could easily enter her photo gallery. And then, what I saw was horribly shocking.
What?
There were over 80 photos of me that I didn't even know she took. I got goosebumps when I saw the folder's name. It had my name. And there was one more folder, Cat, which contained pictures of dead bodies and the several articles that my friend had sent me.
That's it?
One of my teachers told us about a dream she had. She had a dream about 3 or 4 years after her grandfather passed away. In her dream, it was raining hard, and her grandfather, who completely got wet, tried to pass his socks to my teacher. Even though she loved him very much, she kept refusing because she didn't want to receive them for some reason. Then suddenly, the view abruptly changed, and my teacher was in the car. She was driving through a very big tunnel. At some point, she started dozing off, pressed on the brake, and then woke up. She thought it was just a strange dream at first. Another
was all a dream.
Other day, she was driving in a car with her husband. She usually doesn't sleep when she's in the car, but she started dozing off in the front passenger seat on that day. When she woke up, she found that the place they were passing through was the same big tunnel she saw in her dream, and her husband was falling asleep next to her as well. Being startled, she immediately woke her husband up, and they
Hold up. Hold up. He was sleeping for a very long time. I don't like that. We don't like it. Something's up with this tunnel. Something up with this tunnel.
returned home safely. She suddenly remembered her dream, so she visited an expert to get any advice on dream interpretation. And the story goes like this. When you receive an item from a person who passed away, then you will die. Anyway, my teacher soon forgot about it for several years, until 7 years had passed.
7?
That day was the day they were going to change the place of her grandfather's grave, and the moment when they opened his coffin, they could see his wet body was floating in water. The strange thing was that the flesh had not yet rotted. She could
What? And he has those shoes on and you could see his socks. That's not funny. It's like, it's weird. What?
see that the body had a bit of volume. She ended up thinking that her grandfather, who had been standing in the rain in a dream, might have wanted her to know of his current condition. However, this wasn't the only surprise. It turned out that it wasn't only her. Other relatives had the same dream.
Huh? There were most of them were, all of them were creepy, but not really scary. But they were creepy. But I like the animation style. That's that. Like I said, they were creepy, not really scary. But 2 of them, I think I didn't believe them. 2 of them. Which one? Not believe. Some scenes were like, are you sure that happened like that? But who am I to judge? Because I'm not the person who experienced that. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, do me a favor, a little bit of teeny bitty favor. Punch the like button, roundhouse kick it, elbow it. I don't know what you want to do, karate chop it. That would be nice. And of course, give the like button as kiss the like button for me. Give it some love, show it some love, so that I know that you like the video. And of course, tickle the bell so you know when your girl uploads. So you know when your girl uploads. So you know when your girl uploads. So you know, okay. No, so you know that you, so you know when I upload. Yes. Last thing I gotta say is I'm diggly dang done. Peace. I spat all over the place. Disgusting.
Here's Johnny.